Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to look at the E100, one of my favorite heavy tanks in the game. However, we're not just going to look at it bulk standard. We're going to look at both guns because, of course, recently, or I say recently, a year or so ago, Wargaming buffed the stock gun for this tank, and the gun now is absolutely amazing. So we're going to compare both guns and decide which gun is better and which one I personally prefer. So the one on your left is the one with the big gun, the one on the right is the one with the little gun. So straight off the bat, the little gun is better when it comes to DPM, much better. In fact, almost 3000 DPM is actually very, very good for this tank. And also the one with the little gun has a tiny bit more penetration, so all well and good. Now, your alpha, of course, is less. However, it still has 460 alpha, which is still good, and you're going to do upwards, like high end of that. You're going to see the battle that I literally have maybe one shot that is below 460. Others are sort of over 500, late 400s, 480, 470. So yeah, the alpha is still actually really, really good. Now, your rate of fire, of course, is better on the small gun, and so is your reload. So it's like, what, 6 seconds? Basically, well, almost a 7-second difference. So that is massive, and you can actually catch quite a few people out because they're going to think you're on a 17-second reload when in fact you're only on a 9-second reload. So they may be timing your reload. I've seen it happen before where someone shoots. I think Pantooth used to do it all the time. Someone used to shoot him and then he starts timing that reload so he knows how long he's got before he has to hide. So someone might not really realize what gun you're using and start counting to 17 and expose themselves, so you can actually get a free shot, which again you are going to see someone do that on one of my games. Now, the caliber, as I've said, it is a smaller gun, but still 128mm, which is still good. The shell velocity, much better on the smaller gun. The aim time, much better on the smaller gun. Dispersion, much better on the smaller gun. And the gun depression is still the same. So yeah, I mean, stat-wise, power to weight ratio, a little bit better. But yeah, stat-wise, you would say go with the small gun all day long. But it all depends on your playstyle. It all depends if you love DPM. It all depends on if you love alpha. Personally, for me, I do like alpha, but I also like DPM. So this one is a very tricky one to decide which one I love more. So we're going to get into two battles. Of course, we've got two battles, one using the big gun and of course one using the not so big gun. Now, as I've said, like, the E100 has always been the sort of meme. It had a meme gun. No one used the stock gun because it was so bad. And then sort of last year, I think it was, Wargaming decided to change that, and I like that. You know, I really do like the fact that the verity of tier 10, so you don't just have to play it in one way. And that's the same with a couple of tanks, you know. Yeah, you've got the FE4202, which I'm not a big fan of the heat gun, but there are going to be some people that are a big fan. Of course, you've got the Yo as well. You could either play it as a 2-shot autoloader or a 3-shot autoloader. And I like that options. I like the options in tier 10. Otherwise, you know, tier 10 can get a little bit boring. I mean, I love playing tier 10 anyway, and I don't get bored, but I can get bored playing a certain tank for a certain amount of time. Whereas if you are able to continue to change the gun and it doesn't affect your play style, it doesn't affect your damage, your overall performance, then, you know, I'm all for that. And I'm all for bringing in more guns for more tanks, you know, other options, even if it is things like, say, the Object 140, something that needs a change. Give it a different gun, maybe give it a high alpha gun. I don't know, give it some options. So that is one thing I do love about what Wargaming have done with the E100. Now, having said that, I love this gun still. I still love this gun. It's not that I prefer the other gun. Of course, the other gun is good when people don't expect it, because they may get shot and they may think you're on a 17-18 second reload, but that's not the case. You know, it's still got the penetration, it's still got the DPM, it's still got everything that you can do, where this has low DPM, but it of course has that monster alpha shot, which is what I personally love. So personally, I do have a soft spot for this gun, but equally, you know, I do still love the other gun. You know, I absolutely love the other gun. And overall, I think the E100 is one of my go-to tanks just to have a little bit of fun. Honestly, I love this tank. And I've always said it is definitely a noob man's tank, because most drivers who are driving the E100 are not fantastic players. Like, they don't know how to play the tank, they don't know how to angle, and yeah, they just get wrecked. But if you know how to play the tank, honestly, it is an absolutely beauty tank with now both guns. So this is the battle with the big gun, you know, 4.5k damage, and you could do that regularly. You know, yeah, it doesn't have the DPM, but you can still do that damage regularly when you are using the big gun. So moving on, and next up we have the small gun, which, as I've said, I still love this gun. And when I do come up against E100s, the more and more I see people driving this gun. I mean, that shot there, it's still 478 damage. That is still a decent amount of damage. And you can see now the back chat probably thinks I'm on a reload for 18 seconds, but then I can get a nice HE shot into him and do almost 600 damage, which is still the same alpha that you have with the bigger gun. Of course, you're not going to have that. That was a HE shot, and of course, with the bigger gun, you could do more damage with that gun if you was to use the HE. But yeah, honestly, people do need to play this gun more. It really is good. Honestly, it is so good. And again, 477. So it's not like you're doing 300, 350. You're still doing high 400s. Let's have another shot, a high roll, 575. So literally almost every single one of my shots at the moment have been near the 500 mark. 440, can we clear him? Of course. And then we move over to the next target. So in no time at all, we've still got 2.5k damage. What could we do against the E100? Again, a high 400 round, 473. So yeah, you know, you've got to look at that, and you're not doing low alpha every time. Let's go again. Are we going to use, no, well, we're going to miss our shot, but already now that is 3,000 damage. And again, I'm going to reload before this E100 because he is using the bigger gun. So we do manage to clear him for our second kill. And there's just now 3 tanks left alive. There's the Death Star not looking at us. Let's just clear him, and then I'm not going to go towards the tank on the behind the Kranwagen, because of course this guy is looking straight at me. And yeah, we do get a stupid bounce into him, but no worries. I do have the DPM, I do have the hit points to deal with this CC1 Mark 1. And again, as you can see there, 485 damage into him. Can we get one more shot before the T92? Can we get the kill? Or not the kill, but we do. That was our lowest roll. 433. That was our lowest roll, other than taking out a tank that was a one shot in the whole entire battle. And we're on the same damage as we done on the first game. Can we take out this Kranwagen? Let's go for the shot. And of course, we do take him out. So honestly, do look at playing this tank with this gun, because it is mega fun. Of course, it didn't used to be. It used to be absolutely poor, but that is not the case anymore. So let me know what you prefer. Do you prefer the big gun, or do you prefer the small gun on the E100? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm meadsy69, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye bye.